I'm going to show you right now the first picture of this band, and the name of it is the Long Rider. Yeah, the Long Rider. Here's a picture of them. 1, 2, 3, 4 guys. They're older right now. They're really old, but I couldn't get a picture of them when they were young. So I'm going to read the autobiography of the Lone Riders. Stay tuned. Okay, let's get started here. With the Lone Rider, I am American alternative country and partially underground band, principally active between 1982 and 1987, who have periodically regrouped for a brief reunion in 2004, 2009, 2014, 2016, and in 2019 they released a new studio album, and the first in 32 years, and played Syria for 2 days after that, guys. The Lone Rider were originally formed by several American musicians who were each multi-instrument and influenced by Graham Parsons, The Bird, Connie music, and the various punk rock group. They were named after the Walter Hill from The Lone Rider, and the band features SID, Sid Griffin, Stephen McCartney, and vocal guitar, D.E.S. Brewer on bass, later replaced by Tom, Stephen, and Greg Schroeder, SOWDERS on drums. All two of the two members were transplanted from American South to become popular in Los Angeles, California, and the rock band performing in the early 1980s, originally associated with a movement called the Presley PAISLEY Underground, with, let me see, yeah, with the sound reminiscent. Reminiscent, that would be REMINISCENT, Rubber, Forever, Beatles, Electric Bob Dylan, Buffalo Springfield, and the Flying Burrito Brothers, but then with a harder age or edge of anticipated alternative country music in the 1990s. By the decade, the early work continued to influence both punk, largely actively to devoted record collector Griffin, an old school country champion by McCartney's former boss, that would be B.Y.R.D. Jim Clark, and joined them to the first full-length album in 1984, Native Song, adding a vocal to the song Ivory Tower. Their initial studio release, the 10 by 68 EP, considered Griffin, Brewer, McCartney, and SWDRS. Brewer left the band released in 10 by 60 was replaced by Tom Stevens, and the lineup remained in place as a recording until their eventual dismiss. Yeah. Okay, let's go here now with the history. The formation in the early days in 1981, 1982, the Lone Rider route can be traced back into the 1960s garage rock revivalists and their own claim performed in Los Angeles in 1979 after one EP. Kentucky-born guitarist vocalist S.I.D. Griffin and Kansas-born bassist Barry Shank S-H-A-N-K left their own claim on November 1981 with the intention to form a new band. Griffin had this idea of what would be happening to a top of the band. The guitars and the vocal were very West Coast, 1960, punchy and beautiful, but the bass and the drum were aggressive as a punk band. In the early rehearsals, including their unclaimed drummer Matt Rubber and the future Dream syndicated guitarist Steve Wynn, W-Y-N-N-N. The drummer Greg Soder, a native of Los Angeles, California, and met Griffin throughout the mutual friend became, and joined the band on February 1982 after informal audition. The band rehearsed shortly into a trio before the guitarist and the vocalist Stephen McCartney completed the lineup after answering a musician running an ad on March. Original from Virginia, McCartney had recently moved to Los Angeles, California, and was looking for something a bit rocky. Yeah, after playing a country and western band in New York City and Nashville, they soon settled on the name of the Lone Rider, named after the water from hill from the Lone Rider. And the band wrote a letter to the actor Stacy Case, K-E-A-C-H, who had starred in and produced the film, asking for his approval to use the name as the band. I was honored but suggested a different spelling for that reason. The band decided then the Y spelling as a homage to Bird. Homage, H-O-M-A-E-E, Bird, that would be B-Y-R-D-S. Okay guys, this is all very interesting. The Lone Rider were initially linked to the neo-psychedelia. That would be P-S-Y-C-H-E-D-L-I-A. Los Angeles, California, basically underground scene, but McCartney's arrival soon brought the country element to the band. Griffin is a clean, white style country guitar playing gave us a direction nobody else had. Shank led the band on August of 1982 to go back to college and was replaced by British ESP PAT, the Brewers. Later in that year, the new lineup entered the new Eastern Jam Radio Tokyo studio in Venice, California to record three-track demo of two of the tracks Still Nearby and Shirai. Later appeared on the various other completion of the album, the Radio Tokyo tape, and the Rebel Kind, a collection of contemporary garage psychedelic band in 1983. Psychedelic, P-H-Y-C-H-E-D-E-L-I-T. Sorry, but I cannot say it right. And that was a 1983 band. Okay, guys. 10, 5, 60, and another songs in 1983, 1984, in September 1983, BBC Record issued a band self-founded 10, 5, 60 EP, which was produced by former Park guitarist Earl McKay, M-A-N-K-E-Y, at his home studio, California. Griffin was working for BBC parent label for Jam Record, J-E-M Record, an important distribution label who agreed to take on the distribution. Griffin got into a house label, and they did us a favor. They did a favor for them, and I did really well, and they couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe it. And the EP showed a strong 1960 influence from the garage rock psychedelia by the Brazilian, Byrdsin, folk and country rock, and was received back credit, bumping the band to a tour to a U.S. brewer who was not committed to touring left after the EP release, and it was replaced by Don McCall, only to last 3 months before he was asked to leave his playing by drumming a required click. So they explained. Tom Stevens from Indiana became the Long Rider new bassist in late December, playing the first gig on the band on January 1984 after a recommendation of a mutual friend, and didn't even have to formally audition, Stevens said. The Long Rider gig coming at in San Francisco area and needed somebody quickly, very fast. In the spring of 1984, the Long Rider signed with the Los Angeles-based independent record Frontier Record and recorded the first full length of the native songs at the AAM studio in Los Angeles, California in the early summer. They only chose veteran producer Henry Louis, L-E-W-Y, Johnny Michel, flying with his brother to co-produce the album musically, and the band had toned down the psychedelia empathy, country and rock and roll. and the album featured former BYRD Gene Clark adding vocal to the song Ivory Tower. Gene was someone we all early admired, Schroeder said. He was around in LA and we all knew him, but he was a manager of the Saul Davis, S-A-U-L Davis, who arranged a participation session. In the release of October of 1984, the Native Son became the #4 album on the college radio and indie charts, and the U.S. received positive critical reviews. And the band taking American musical tradition was, especially, a success with the critic in the UK with a melody maker called it a modern American classic. Upon the release in the UK in March of 1985, it was distributed by the Shipper Records Company. Shipper will be C as in Shipper, IPPO Record, who had also released I Had a Dream as a UK only single, and the album single reached the #1 and #4 on the UK indie charts, respectively. Very interesting, I like that. They continue here. State of the Union of a Union. Wow, in 1985, 1986, following the success Native Son, a lone Ryder decided to reissue the 10-5-60 EP full-length album retired by 5x5 with 5 new studio tracks. And the band entered the AAM studio in February of 1985 with the engineer co-producer Paul McKenna, McKenna, and recorded at least 6 tracks. Time keeps driving him. That time keeps driving him. The Trip, Sandwich Man, just had the 3 tracks. I say, good day, my witnesses. And God is my witness. I mean, give me for that. I just have read that. The Flaming Groovy, I Can Hide, and the Bob Dylan Master of War. The Bob Dylan Master of War. And the planned album, however, was abandoned when the band was signed a new record deal and prepared to record the next proper album later that year. Most of these tracks were later included as a bonus track of the future compilation album, and the reissue of the Native Son 10-5-60 I Can Hide was a fleshy date in 1986 under the Moonlighter and the Spring Wighats, 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 and giving away free at the Bob magazine that day. After touring the U.S. in March 1984, the Lone Rider embarked on the first international tour in Europe on March-April of the 1985. Upon the arrival in the UK, Stephen said, we were greeted with a sold-out show and amazing crowd reception. the cover of the NME, okay? A little 12 record company at our London hotel door. After a second London show, Island Record UK signed a band in the late spring, and the band returned to the US to write a demo new song. Released in September of 1985, their first major label album, Stay Our Union, was recorded in England, Chipping Norton Studio. That would be CHIPPING Norton Studio, produced by World Bridge, BRICH, formerly British band the Coastal Flyers. That would be KURSAAL Flying on the record. And the album was a success at college alternative radio stations in the US, but some prominent rock and sound didn't please in the US or UK critics. And much as a native sound, State of the Union reached the number 66 on the album chart, as well as number 2 on the UK country chart, and the single Looking for Louis like peaked at number 59 on the UK single chart, but it was never released commercially in the US. The album sold well in the UK, but we're looking for a Louis Clark who gained the band much wider exposure. The State of the Union quickly became the band's biggest selling album, and the band was soon more popular in Europe than in the US, where they failed to break out of the college radio market. In the spring of 1986, the Lone Ryder was widely criticized for doing a TV commercial in the US for Miller Beer, a fan critic and surgeon area of the music community were outraged and accused the band of selling out. Well, and the Lone Ryder during the Miller Beer ad killed the US in the US, and it killed us stone dead. We went from hot to cold in about 3 weeks. Griffin said. The blaster of the label and the S all did the beer commercial too. Yeah, right? But only on us and the dead focus got ripped off for it. And the band was not getting much airplay on regular radio stations, yeah, in the US, and hoped that the beer commercial would provide them much needed exposure. Also, the band was not making any money to this day. The only money the Lone Ryder had ever seen is from the beer commercial, Griffin said in 2016. Griffin by that, but I'm thinking of something else here. It was from 2016, okay? I was thinking of something else that came into my mind. The band, however, continued to tour, building a success in Europe. In Spain, the headlining and fun for 100,000 people in Barcelona alone. A festival in September of 1986, which was broadcast live on national radio. Griffin probably is the highest point Graham Bucket shot Wilson Pickett, Pickett, and they were both opening for the day. I nearly fainted that day. So there you go. Sorry for a little messed up that I have back there, but I was thinking of something else at the same time. This is how my mind works. Sometimes when I'm talking, there's some other thoughts coming to me, other thoughts. So it might be from God, it might be from somewhere else, but something that happened to me before. When I was a kid, it happened even more. But right now, it doesn't happen how much, but as I getting older, it's coming back. Just like I'm going to become a kid again at the end of my time. And that happens to everybody, I think, at one point or another. You know, that's the way it is. Okay, let's continue here. Two fitted tell and break up. That would be FISTED. Tell and break up in 1987, guys. The Long Rider had ended it in 1986 by recording the second Highland album, Two Fitted Tales. On November and December at the AM at the Ryder studio in Hollywood with producer Ed Stadium. There will be STASIUM and Harmonious Soul Asylum and the Smithson. This is a hard one. SMITHEREENS Living Color. Was mixed in February of 1987 and the Compact Point Studio in Nassau, Bahamas, and featured a guest appearance by David Hidalgo, Othello Level, and Debbie Vicky Peterson of the Bengal, yeah. On the album, and the Long Rider moved further away from the country rock origin and the soul cut and more chorus rock direction, but they were still rooted to a traditional American music, and the finish of the album was delivered into the island in March, but the release was delayed for 2 months. Don't Wait was selling better than the island expected. YouTube was still shipping units and also were told to wait. Griffin said, in the 2 years since the Long Rider time with Island, several key employees had left the label at the department, and the new team showed up a little interest in the band and the release of the two Fitted Tales, Fitted, FISTED. In the meantime, the band were offered to open for U2. Yeah, I like U2 too, U2 fine, but uh, on the North American leg Joshua Tree Tour. In April May, percent 250 tail were delayed. The long rider declined, hoping to join the YouTube band later on. Griffin would never did get open for YouTube at all of it, not even once. So this was a major opportunity, no question about it, and fairly a big regret of mine. The album was finally released on June despite the first single cover of NRBQ. I want you bad. I want you bad. Okay, getting a radio airplay, neither single, no album Saturday. The lack of commercial success and the label support as well as the readiness touring schedule began to take a toll on the band. After a European tour, Steven left the band to be replaced by the band's guitarist Larry Stedman. Chatman for a U.S. tour. And following immediately, Griffin went into the road with us. I learned while driving across the country into a motel room at night we never had a formal rehearsal. In 2013, Steven explained his reason for leaving the band the spring of 1987 tour to Europe was a nightmare despite a major label deal. We were broke and I found myself having to find another source of income so that my growing family could eat. I had a roof on top of the head. Wow. In June of 1987, when the other long rider insisted upon doing a U.S. tour that was expected to lose 5 figures announced I was leaving the band. But that was the little side there. They didn't have even money to put the roof on top of their family or to eat. That's a little bit sad there. I imagine they have a very hard time. And August, McCartney announced that the band he would be leaving them at the end of the U.S. tour. I was dead at the end, he said in 1988. I don't regret the day I played the long rider, but it was a fertile, Futile. I quit before I got to the point of beating each other on the stage. Okay? Even to Island offer Griffin and Shoulder the opportunity to record the third album for the label, they decided not to continue as long as a writer without McCartney. The band did not officially break up until the late 1987. At that time, I was signing with the Island in 1985. Worked well for the first few months. Steven said in 2009, the two AER guys got into ASE the year, and and the new UK regime headed off. Wow. Ireland, US was also fairly useless. We never seemed to be a big concern for any of them. Between that and the slow shift started in 1986 to hair metal, and the turn of so creepy, the hard negative, so I put the strain on us, and the band which is, who could never recover. Yeah, they never recover from that. Okay, here we go with post breakup. In 1989, the Long Rider fan club released an unauthorized C90 audio cassette complete with metallic video which contained previously unreleased live recording studio audio tape. The tape was subsequently edited down for CD and reused by Overground Records in 1990. Two live albums and two complete albums were released in 1990 and 2000. BBC Radio on live concerts in 1994, and the three-man running of the Long Rider live in New York City. The 2003 contained live recording of 1985-1987 while looking for Lewis Clark, the Long Rider anthology. 1998 and the best of the Long Rider 2004 collect track spanning the band's career from 1983-1987, including the B-side of the demo live recording. Okay, Griffin, who relocated to London, kept busy as also solo artist bandleader of the core brother, Western Electric, and as a music journalist author. In 1984, he had run his own label record in London-based Burma Record, and the label primary but not exclusive and an outlet for the Griffin solo project. And the release of the Long Rider and the core photo, he wrote several books, including Graham Bottom, a music biography in 1985, $1 Million Bash by Dylan, and the band in the basement tape. In 2007, Shelter from the Storm, Shelter from the Storm, by Dylan, Rolling Thunder, yes. 2010, the second volume was reissued in 2014 to coincide with the release of the bootleg, the BOOTLE bootleg series, volume 11, and the basement tape complete a 6 CD collection with Griffin contribute in the liner note. Okay. McCartney, after 10 leading his own band, Walker Story, appeared on the 1990 multi-Arab album Two Voices, a duo with Carla Olson and Tom Jan. Tom Jan, that would be Jans song Living On, a return to home to Richmond, Virginia, and played the indie supergroup Go the Ball with Steve Wayne, W-Y-A-N-N, Steve, W-Y-N-N, sorry for that. The fellow Richmondi, Brian Harvey, and Johnny Hart, H-O-T-T, House of Freak, in 2001 began playing with J Hug, the J Hug. Stephen returned to his native Indiana on a degree in computer science and released a solo album. Additionally, Schroeder, who was briefly married to the singer Lucinda Williams, Lucinda Williams, Lucinda Williams, went to work for any music publishing company. Buell continued to play in Los Angeles, California in the circle of first accompanied various singers-songwriters, then moving to the old school country band. Meet bigger than Cowboy. That would be Misbegotten Cowboy. Original bassist Tank hold a PhD in American Studies as a professor in Ohio State University in the author of several books including Dissonant Identity, DISSONANT Identity, and the rock and roll scene in Austin, Texas in 1994. It took my affection, greeting card, and American business culture in 2004, and the political force of musical beauty in 2014. Sorry for a cough. Okay, reunion 2004, 2018, and 2003, a European boogie agent approached the band about putting together a long Ryder reunion show in the UK, Spain, and Netherlands also in the summer of 2004, including performance of Glastonbury Festival. I never got to a long Ryder would play together again, Griffin said in 2004. I had offered before to tour as SID Griffin and the Long Rider, a kind of karaoke version of the Long Rider playing Long Rider song. But this offer was to get the original together, so I passed it along, and I thought we don't do it now. We're never going to do it again. A live album entitled The Stage of Our Reunion resulted from a reunion tour, and the band played the first live date in the U.S. in more than 20 years, and they will play in two shows at the L.E.A.R.L. Atlanta, Georgia in January 2009. Just some crazy guy with the money, Griffin said. On January 2014, the Lone Rider played the first show in Los Angeles, California in 27 years. One of Monkey Appreciation Night at the Troubadour, Troubadour, 5 days Spanish follow in December of the year. In January 2016, Cherry Red Record released a Lone Rider box set of final wild song composed the material from their full-length album, of their EP, and various demos, and previously unavailable or unavailable. 50 songs performed from the Benelux, BAENELUS radio appearing in March of 1985. Mojo magazine, in February of 2016 issue, and gave the collection a review saying that unwillingly invented Americana but seldom to receive credit for it. This first CD box set put the record straight. The band subsequently played 12 days on the continent of the UK in April and May, and 4 East Coast in the US in November. In 2017, Griffin McCartney's shoulder and Stephen recorded the first material for the Lone Rider in 1987, McCartney, and the band played a number of shows in 2016. We felt it would be worthwhile to try and write records of the new material. McCartney and Schroeder recorded the first part of the few new songs with engineer co-producer Adrian Austin and most shows MONTROUSE, Montrose Recording Studio in Virginia, while Griffin Stephen recorded remotely from London, Indiana. A single of the recording Bear in the Wood was released in April 17, 2017, at this time for 4 days in California to late April. In November 2018, Cherry Red Record released 3 CD box set the editor the band album stage of our union to FISTED, FISTED, there, and announcing the new from the band will be released in 2019 with Cherry Red Record in the UK recording in North America also. Okay, here we go with Psychedelic, PSYCHEDELIC, EDELIC country show on September and November of 2019. Yeah, 2019 to a person of February 15, 2019. The Long Rider released psychedelic country songs and the band's first album new material in 32 years opening track. Greenville premiere on the Billboard website. It was well received by critics and reached at number 2 on the UK American charts, number 4 on the UK country charts, and number 10 on the UK independent charts. The LA Times says the album was recorded and sound fantastic, while Mojo wrote psychedelic country soul put them into the right back on the top of the world they helped create. The album was produced by Ed Chandler, SDASIUM, and the record mainly at Dr. Dread Record One Studio in Los Angeles, California, featuring the member of the Bingo, and Hammer vocal Dave Berman, and Boogie Bug, Phil Everly, Hot Ashton. That would be HOYTAS like X-ray, TON, and the pedal steel guitar. The Long Rider announced a series of tours dates in 2019 to support the album release. It was the band's most extensive tour since 1980, with 43 dates in Europe and North America, shorter who was unavailable for October and November dates. And Europe was temporarily replaced by Simon Hancock, HANCOCK, between January 29 and February 3rd, 2020. The band participated in the Outlaw Country Crusade Musical Festival, a 5-night boat cruise from Miami, Florida to Falmouth, Jamaica, with over 30 artists, including Lucinda Williams, and the Maverick, and Tiff and the Duke. Wow, all them. I love the Maverick. The Maverick's an incredible band too. And Lucinda Williams too. McCandy contributed on Canada Ocean in 2020. I have a harmony with Travel 2, where they played the guitar and duo with also on Timer, I Am Falling in Love. Original #1 hit for Party Loveness, Billboard High Country Single, and the track charged in 1989. He also appeared in 2021 on various artists' album American Railroad, doing with Orton 2-track, and the first ever duo album of the name, Calm Falling, was released in November 2022. On September 4, 2020, the Long Rider released a new single titled Down to the Wall, Down to the Wall, and the song had been recorded on February 2017 at the same station produced by Bear Underwood, and downloaded a single include a remake of If You Want to See Me Cry. If You Want to See Me Cry, yeah. Original from psychedelic country soul. On January 23rd, 2021, Tom Stevens died suddenly at the age of 64 at his home in Indiana of undisclosed causes. The TV single Tom Tom was released and downloaded on January 21, 2022. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Long Ryder producer E.D. Stadium recorded a track remote, sending the audio file back and forth to California Sound Stadium in Virginia, McCartney and England Griffin. Yeah, they had to do that back then because the damn COVID, which was so fake. The Long Ryder received the International Trailblazer Award from American Music Association in UK in January of 2022. 9 months later, the Country Music Hall of Fame in Nashville, Tennessee, honored the Long Ryder by including the band in a new exhibition titled Western Age and the Root of the Reverberation of Los Angeles, California country rock. Lyric sheet. Again, lyric sheet. For the song Looking Lewis and Clark and the Gunliner Man. The Gunliner Man. At the honor display, as part of the band photo, poster, album cover, and an interactive listening station where visitors can hear Long Ryder recording and the exhibition scheduled to continue to May 2025 last year, because guys, the recording session for the band's next studio album took place during the summer of 2022, followed by 6 days U.S. tour in November. On these days, the band was augmented by touring bassist Murray Hammond of Old 97. On December 2, 2022, the band announced the release of the fifth studio album in September and November. On March 10, 2023, they released the Worldwide by Cherry Red, like the procedure was produced by E.D. S.T.A.S.I.U.M. His Koshi, K-O-C-Y, Tom Ranch, the Tom Ranch Studio, Poway, California. And the official contributor from the amounts of the violence like Teresa, K-E-R-E-N-C-A, Peacock, and Cole Padre, and Cole Porter, and that's DJ Break. Bass and Duty, bass duty, for the album was shared by McCartney and Hammond, and the band still include Hammond and set out to a Europe tour in May and June of 2023, with the second leg planned for October. On September 15, 2023, the band released a 3-track download live EP Copenhagen COPENHAGEN 23. Okay, we're going to hear with the band members, calling by member SID Griffin, vocal, guitar, harmonica, mandolin, auto harp, Montecelio, banjo, Steven McCarthy, vocal, guitar, acoustic guitar, lap steel guitar, banjo, mandolin, Greg Soder, SOWDERS, drum percussion, vibraphone, keyboard, trombone, 1982, 1987, 2004, 2009, to 2016. Former member Barry Shank, SHANK, Barry and Bass, 1982. DES Brewer, BREWER, Bass, 1982, 1983. Tom Stevens, vocal, bass, upright, bass, guitar, acoustic guitar, cello, 1983, 1987, 2004, 2009, to 2021. Drum musician, okay, Don McCall, bass, 1983. Larry Stedman, bass, 1987. Simon Hancock, Simon Hancock, drum, 2019. Murray Hammond, bass, 2022 to the present. Okay, let's go here with the graphics. Studio album, Native Sound, 1984, Frontier, Day of Our Union, 1985, Island, to Federated, Terror, that would be FISTED, Terror, 1987, Island. Chocolate Country Show, 2019, Cherry Red, record label. September, November 2023, Cherry Red. Live album, BBC Radio 1, live concert, 1994, one song. 3 minutes running, long Ryder live in New York City, 2003, Prima. Day of Our Union, 2004, Prima. Completion. Here we go with completion. Metallic BO, 1989. ROWYTO. Looking for Lewis and Clark, Long Ryder Anthony, 1999 or 1998, yeah. Chronicle the best of the Long Ryder 2004 Primer, Final Water Song, 2016 Chevrolet. Extended play, 10-5-60, 1983, BBC, Live EP, Copenhagen, 23, 2023 Chevrolet Digital Download. Digital Download, yeah. Okay. Here we go with single, which is more interesting and more fun than I was said. Year single, tell to the judge on Sunday. Loretta French, tell to the judge on Sunday A, play game B. Okay. I had a dream, 1984. Shipper, UK 7. I had a dream to go to the Ryder Bucking King. Okay. 1985. Looking for Lewis and Clark. Island 7, 10, 12. That's the days of our union. There will be 286. I realized Spain. There was that in Spain, yeah. I want you bad. I want you bad. Island 12, 7, 12. US 12. Pomo, I want you bad. Wimble. Okay. 1987. Gun Lighter. Guns Linger Man. Gun Linger Man. Now, finally, I say it right. 2017. Bear in the Wood. With my digital download. Bear in the Wood. Greenville. Cherry Red. Greenville. Molly Somebody. Cherry Red. Digital download. Walls. Cherry Red. Digital download. Walls radio edit. 2020. Down to the wall. Yeah, down to the wall. Digital download. Down to the wall. Tum Primer digital download 2022. September, November 2022. Cherry Red. Digital download. Alma Gunstreet. Live and Wall. Digital download. Season change. Cherry Red digital download. Okay. So this is all I got from this great band for you guys. I'm a little tired already for doing this, but I have to do it. Okay, let's go here with background information. Long Ryder Performance 2023. They are original from Los Angeles, California, United States. Generally, basically underground alternative country. Called punk, folk rock, Contract, Woodrock, January. He active 1982, 1987, 2004, 2009, 2015, 2016 to a person, labor record, BBC, Frontier Island, Polygram, Palma, Cherry Red, okay, member, set aside the Griffin, Stephen McCarthy, Carthy, okay guys, Greg Soder, SOWDER, okay, past member, Barry Shank, D. Brewer, Tom Stevens, okay, and their website is, you guessed it, www.longrider.com. Okay, thank you very much for watching, for listening to me. I hope you understand everything that I have told you on this podcast. Please like, subscribe, and always pray for yourself, pray for your family, pray there's no more wars, no more pandemic, no more corruption. We don't need that here in this earth. We must live in peace and harmony, like brothers and sisters, for the earth and the universe, like it should be. Okay guys, bye bye, God bless you.